Good day everyone, I'm Xia Jiaxuan, an undergraduate student of University Tunku Abdul Rahman. Today I would like to share my point of view on the topic of resilient youth in a post-pandemic world. As of the current moment, the world is facing one of the biggest pandemics in the history of mankind. I'm sure everyone is well aware of the situation, especially those who are staying in Malaysia, where we are hit by the third wave of the pandemic. However, we the youth shall not just sit there and watch as this pandemic hits us. Instead, this calls for a change and action. I believe that everyone is aware of what the pandemic has caused to the mankind. Millions has lost their life, and even more are affected as their friends and families are diagnosed with the COVID-19. This has brought upon a huge impact not only towards the individuals and business, but also the countries and the world. So, what changes has the pandemic brought upon to the world? Changes have happened at different levels on different areas. For instance, the well-being and the health of the people are mainly affected. As mentioned earlier, many have lost their lives during this tough situation, and many more cases are reported every day. Besides that, the pandemic also brought upon an indirect effect on the physical and mental health of the general public. Due to this pandemic, many are constrained from going out for exercise. Stress which was brought upon with this pandemic has also caused a big issue for all people from children to students and to the adults. Besides that, businesses are closing down one by one. Those restaurants and cafes that we went once daily or weekly might not be around anymore. Business which are not able to cope with the change of convert their business model to adapt the current situation might have to rethink if their business is feasible. When a business is affected, it's not a person problem. The employer, so do the supplier, the employees, and all their families are affected. Some of them might be the sole breadwinner for their family. So, could you imagine what they are undergoing through this tough time? Next, the education is also no longer the same whether it's during the pandemic or the post-pandemic. Academicians had to change their teaching style to meet the current online teaching and learning methods. Students have to practice self-discipline and cope with study by themselves. Although interaction can still happen online, but the sense of being there under the same roof talking to each other, presence of the other still plays a big role in education. Because I believe that learning is not just about our lecture putting information or knowledge into our brain. It's more than that. It's about the little story that our lecturer would tell us during the class, the small talk with our lecturer during the break session, and the feeling of having friends around you. As tough as it might be, we have to admit that the world has changed, and we have no choice but to adapt the changes. Whether it's during the pandemic or post-pandemic, we as the youth should be the ones standing in front facilitating the changes. So, let me share with you what we as the resilient youth should do to cope with the changes of the world. First, be ready for the changes. Step out of your comfort zone. I understand that everyone hates changes. Even me myself hate change. If possible, we will hope that we will follow the same routine for the next few years or even decades. However, The current situation does not allow us to behave in this manner. We have to change, and we also have to adapt to the changes. You might be wondering, what kind of changes do we need to make? Step 1. Equip yourself with the necessary skill for the upcoming work. Because if you are not ready to help, how do you want to help? More skills are emerging to be more important in the upcoming post-pandemic world. According to Forbes, there are 8 skills which are necessary to survive in the post-pandemic world. Those skills are adaptability and flexibility, tech savviness, creativity and innovations, data literacy, critical thinking, digital and coding skills, leadership, and the emotional intelligence. We have to admit that the world is no longer the same as we used to live in a year ago. Things are more digitalized now. Thus, all these skills are definitely essential for the future. We should take some time, as we are at home now, to polish these skills so that we can one day apply these skills to help not only our future employer, but also those around us. After we have obtained this skill, we should be ready to offer our hand for those in need. Whether it's your friends or families, your company or even strangers, help them as your capability allows you to, because no man is an island. Also, encourage people to ask for help, especially those around you. Some might be facing their biggest dilemma in their life, and yet not dare to bring this burden to their families or friends. Thus, we should pay more attention on those who really need our help. Sometimes, you might think that you would not be able to offer any more help, but little did you know, you only need to be there with them at their difficult times. It's as simple as that. Would you know when the pandemic would end? Have you been wondering how the world will be after the pandemic? Do you think we can still hang out again with our friends and be close to our loved ones again? We, the youth, have the power to create this possibility into reality. But it's important that we have to move now. We have to change now. Thank you.